Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in again for another episode. It's March 8th. Up, I'm up $390 today. I took four trades on three different stocks. I got the market up here. We're gonna look at it real quick. This is the 4-hour, 180-day time frame. We can see we got a pretty decent bounce today on the market. Um, Closing up here at the 274 levels off a bounce from down 272.50. We can see we bounced off near this white dotted line that I have drawn back here from about a month ago, and this is off the top of the highs of a bullish run. And I've said it, and it also acted as support over here in this time frame, this area. I said before in videos that if a stock is moving up, and if they're in an uptrend, typically they'll tend to bounce off the highs of a previous um, upward move, and we can see that's what's happened here. Now, that being said, we don't know what this could just be day traders or people coming in here short term trying to buy off this dotted line, and we could get a further downside on Monday. Who knows? But there did some fundamental things, and if you guys know, I don't dig too much into the fundamentals. I'm still learning. I want to get more involved in it, but there's some the jobs report and the employment rate and all that came out today, and the wages are up, but they there was supposed to be 180 jobs add 180,000 jobs added in February, and there's only 20,000. So that's people don't think. But that being said, even though it wasn't the best news, and unemployment's down obviously, so a little bit or up a little bit, I think. So even though we don't have the best fundamentals, we still got upward movement on the market. That could mean that we don't want to go down any further from here, and we'll continue the upward trend. I'm not sure, but anyhow, that's good for the SPY for now. Let's get into the trades I took. So one more thing on the SPY. So another reason I like to follow the SPY is if we look um on the 1 day 1 minute chart. Actually, let's do the 5 no, this is fine. So if we look here on the 1 minute chart, we can see, and you guys know I've been saying I'm trying not to trade in the first 15 minutes, and I'm up today, and part of that is because I followed that rule. I did not trade in the first 15 minutes. We can see um, the SPY chopped around here in this very tight range around this white dotted line that we have as an uptrend line, not trend line, but an uptrend level, and um, at 9:45, exactly after the first 15 minutes, we pushed up strong, and this is when I had comfort, and this helped me in my. I went long on COSTCO at that point, so this helped me today just by keeping an eye on the market and making sure I'm moving with the market, not against it. So as we can see, we did sell off back later, but this kind of foreshadowed the rest of the day's trading, and we did turn it sideways, but eventually we pushed up higher throughout the day. But I haven't been trading in the afternoon. That's one thing I might be tweaking on my strategy. I might be trying to watch the market all day long because normally I stop around 12. But me being a beginner, I need to get all the experience that I can get, so I need to be watching it more really right now. So anyhow, enough of the SPY. Let me get into my trade on COSTCO. Sorry guys, let me bear with me here just a moment. All right, so traded COSTCO. They're moving up, and my thought process with COSTCO. I know Kroger sold off yesterday, and it's kind of, I think they're the consumer product, consumer goods. They do tend to do pretty well even when the market's not doing that bad. I mean, when the market's not doing that well, they tend to still do decent and hold their own. So, and it was gapping up on their earnings. They had good earnings, and I marked off some levels here, and if we look on over here on the 180-day chart, this was when it gapped up into this area pre-market. I was marking off, finding these levels of support back here. This blue dotted line I found, that's 225, and then below that I had a 220 was my other support level in here, but I didn't mark that one because it was so much further down. And then I had my resistance from back here at this next previous high level of 229 and 228 to 230, and then up here 233. So we had tight support here, in my opinion, at 225. So I was looking for a long play up to 230s area. This is my pre-market plan. All right, that's a 1 hour chart. Let's get into a tighter time frame. Let's go to the 1 minute chart. So we can see here the first 15 minutes we kind of bounced around here, and then let me try to get a good view for you guys here. Sorry. So the first 15 minutes we kind of sold off a bit, downtrending, and then we got this reversal right here, and we pushed up through this white dotted line, which I talk about very frequently. This is called the VWAP, the volume weighted average price. This is what the big money uses to gauge their sales by as well. This is another reason why it's such a good indicator. The people who trade the big money for the banks, I'm talking billions, hundreds of millions of dollars, they they are paid and they are commissioned based off where they buy in regards to the VWAP, because a client will tell them, hey, I want to get out of this position today, and then their job is to get out above the VWAP if they're selling and buy below the VWAP if they're trying to get into a position. And so a lot of transactions will take place around the VWAP, and you want to watch the transactions. You can see the sizes of the bids and the asks going through it at the VWAP, and you can gauge where the big institutions have their money. So that's why this indicator, that's one of the reasons this indicator is so important. Anyhow, at 9:45 exactly, we got this green candle bouncing off the VWAP. That also in my 220, and well, actually, I added 50 shares here when we moved up through V, because when you move all the way, shoot up through VWAP like this strong, that's a good sign. I waited for a pullback, and at 9:44, I added right here. We got this drop down to VWAP, and I was at 225.60. I set my stop loss 66 down at 225 at the level support that I have. So I'm risking 66 cents. That's $33 on 50 shares. And then I added another 50 on this when we got to VWAP at 225.40, risking another 40 cents. So I'm risking on 50 shares. So I'm risking about $50 down to this blue line, or a little below this blue line, about 50 or $60. We never got to it. We reversed off of the VWAP and pushed up strong. And we got the price action started to slow here at these small candles. We can see we don't have big full green candles. And I was watching this past resistance area, and I took off, I think I took off 50 shares here just to be safe. Right, and then immediately after that, we got this big push up. So I regretted that, but um, I held the other shares. I guess I gotta, because a lot of times this will happen if you sell too early and then you see that, you'll be trying to hold on. Really, unfortunately, I didn't get to at the top of this candle, but I sold out I stopped out here on the way down. And let me show my trades, guys. This is getting confusing because I took a couple. I want to be quick about this. So I sold out 50 shares here right before this green candle, and then we got this drop, and I sold out the rest of my position at 226.79 and or 59, and I made $116 on that trade. Then we got this, and it's a good thing I sold out here, because as you see, we reversed all the way back down past my entry price, and then I added 100 shares. Right, we broke through this blue dotted line level at 225 that I had, this support level, broke through it, pushed back up over it, and I added right here at 225.48, and I think I tried to add a little lower, but I'm using market order, so it didn't go through in time. We pushed up, and I took out 50 shares here at 226.84, and I took out another 50 on this drop. This was a mistake, guys. I should have done the same thing when we do this reversal up through VWAP. I should have added right here at VWAP again. I would have reached my profit target. This is a stupid trade here I took later that I stopped out immediately after because we had broken out, and I was thinking that we were gonna get this reversal, which we did, but I didn't want to risk any more money. I made $117.50 on this trade. I think I lost like $20 on this trade, so I was off of over $230 at that point. Now, I also took a trade on Tesla, and I gotta hurry up because took a couple trades on Tesla. So Tesla was bound. This gold line here is the previous day closing price. The price which the stock closed at yesterday at 4 o'clock p.m. Now can be a significant level some days on stocks, and we can see this Tesla was reacting very well with this gold line in the first hour or so of trading, and it didn't want to break it and hold below it. And I decided that it would be a good entry point to go long above the previous day closing price and set my stop. And Tesla will have big drops, so you have to give it a little bit of space if you don't want to get stopped out. So I went in small share size, 50 shares, and I set my stop a whole dollar away. So I was risking $50. 276.94. I set my stop at 276. We never even came close. We pushed up over to about $1.50, something like that. And I took 25 shares off here, and that was a good little gain. And then I added, when we got this drop back down towards VWAP, we never touched it. And I thought I've talked about Tesla before, it's got a bounce coming up. And I added again because I thought my theory was correct. I thought I was in a good position. We got another push up. And for some reason, I added again up here because I thought the stock was in such demand. I thought it was going to keep trending up from here, and I wasn't thinking. I should have waited for a pullback to VWAP and then added another 50 shares, which I didn't do. But I stopped out here, and I made $53 on that. Now the last trade that I took was on this little stock that was a penny stock yesterday, and now it's not. But we had this breakout. I only went long 100 shares, and I got in here at the drop, and we push up. I made over $100. Over $100 on. Oh, I still have 2 minutes left. I can slow down a little bit. All right, so we can see this stock. It went from $3 back here and yesterday, and it had a good day yesterday. Sorry. So it did have a decent day yesterday, and this is a good sign when stocks hold their highs at the end of the day. They can have a good next day, and we can see this stock went up over 100% from yesterday, $4 to almost $10. So anyhow, let me get to my trade. So we can see the stock ran up real high here, pre-market. It sold off down and bounced on the $7 level. And then we got a strong push up. And then we had this is called a bullish pennant. This is a pattern that shows the fight over the price of a stock. And as soon as as soon as you get a breakout to the upside, let me try to zoom in here for a little bit. So you can see the stock price, as soon as it broke through, a lot of traders will take this trade right here after it breaks through this yellow line, take it right here. Well, I'm trying to get a better entry. I actually took this trade on the bottom of this red candle, and the stock looked like it was about to crash. And I bought right here, but I do a market order, and I got filled right here, but I rode the momentum all the way up, selling out up here at the top, and I made it $112 on that trade on only 100 shares. So that's a 20% move on a stock right there. This stock moved 20%. That's a